right, so why don't you go ahead and just tell us what you know about, your family coming over here to the United States?
Well, they immigrated it from Scotland. My Shanks' name is Scottish, of course. And they immigrated from Scotland about 1851 or 52. And they stopped in Ohio for a year or so first, but then they had word from people in Wisconsin that it was pretty good here, so they ended up in Wisconsin then.
What did they do for work over in Scotland?
Farming, I imagine.
What?
As far as I know, I'm not aware of any particulars about it. But.
And I did know they're from close to Edinburgh
Yeah.
area?
Yes, in the Glasgow or Edinburgh area. Yeah. And then the local school district was the lowest school, and that's named after a town in Scotland. Alloa was a town in Scotland.
Oh yeah, Loa?
Alloa.
Oh.
A-L-L-O-A.
I wish you would have told me you were going to take some of your pictures. I kept
Well, I
thinking,
didn't mention it in there when you was leaving. I guess you didn't hear me.
no, I mean, this last
Oh.
week or so, yeah.
You said 1881, 1882?
1851, 52.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I just typed the wrong thing.
What were you talking about?
When they came over from
When
Scotland.
Scottish ancestors came over from Scotland.
So do you remember if that was like your great-grandparents or great-great-grandparents, or do you remember?
My great-grandparents.
And so that was on your paternal side, your dad's side?
Yeah.
And then what about your mom's side? Where are they from?
Well, they were from Germany. My grandma Messer was born in Germany, and she came to this country when she was 5 years old. And she didn't learn to read or write until she was well up in years.
Do you know what year she came over?
No, I don't.
She was about 7 or 9 years old, right in there, Grandma Messer was, when she came over.
Okay. And do you know what year she was born?
Boy, I wish we would have had, I should have had all that stuff.
Oh, we.
Yeah, it's
You
fine.
don't have to have anything. We're just.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
You're not going to jail.
Yet. We haven't heard all your stories yet. All right, so they came from Ohio. Your paternal side came from Ohio, and did they come straight to Portage then?
Well, the Portage area, yeah. Of course, they came through Milwaukee to get up this far. Because the farm has been in the Shanks name for 150 years now.
Wow. And Grandpa, what year were you born again?
1924.
What do you remember about your birth? No, I'm just kidding.
What?
What do you remember about your birth? I'm joking.
You were born at the farm though?
Yeah, at the farmhouse, yes.
And can you remind me the order of your siblings and where you fit in?
Well, I'm the oldest, of course. And then my next is brother Bill. He's 2 years younger than I am. And my brother John passed away last year. He was about 6 years younger than me. And then my brother Liam drowned in 1957 when he was 19 years old.
He was in the Navy, he was home on leave. He went swimming in the Wisconsin River with some friends.
And you said he was home on leave from the Navy. Was he stationed in the United States?
Yeah.
Where?
Great Lakes, wasn't he?
Oh,
Was he at the Great Lakes?
I think maybe he was Great
Yeah.
Lakes, yeah.
okay. Do you want to just talk about a few of your early memories, what the farm was like? Like just some fun stories you might have growing up at the farm, things you remembered?
Oh boy. Oh, I don't know.
Talk about what was your average meal like?
Well, that was really
Well,
fun.
meat, well, the big meal was at noon, of course. Meat and potatoes and gravy and bread and butter and vegetables. Supper was a lighter meal, maybe fried potatoes and brick cheese or something like that.
That's about what it was.
Yeah.
Oatmeal for breakfast. I always liked it better when it had raisins in it than it did.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
I thought you didn't like raisins. Who was it that didn't like raisins? Somebody, Dolores maybe.
Tell me what a typical day on the farm was like for as far as chores were concerned for you.
Well, it varied by the season, of course. In the summertime, the cows were out on pasture overnight. And the first thing to do was to give them their feed ration in the barn, and then go out and get the cows and bring them in. Milk the cows. And the milkman would come and pick up the milk, and then it had to scrub up the cooler. And then we'd go in for breakfast somewhere along the way there.
So what time did you get up? Do you know?
5:30 in the morning, because the milkman came quite early, and we had to get the cow's milk before the milkman came.
Did you set an alarm or did you just get up? Were you a morning person?
I was in on that, too.
It never bothered me much at
Yeah.
all. No. It's just the way things were, that's all.
Yeah.
What about when you were a kid? What was what was your favorite thing to do when you weren't working?
Reading, huh?
Well, yeah, I suppose, but I don't know, between Bill and John and I, we always seemed to manage to do something.
Yeah,
You know, you have these modern zip lines now?
yeah.
We had one when we were kids. On the big elm trees west of the house, the old hay rope. With a pulley on it, we had that was when we were kids. Then we used to make slingshots. And we shoot stones at each other, and you hear it go whee by. Maple tree down in front of the house had nice branches with a good stem on it, and a nice Y on it for and you cut bands from old inner tubes and tie them on.
They weren't angels by any means.
Of course, we had a chore when it was real cold and snowy. If we had a snowstorm, we had to clear the snow out of the way for the milkman. And then there's always some chores to do, something that needs fixing in the barn or cleaning up or something. And the days were shorter. But in the summertime, there was always field work to do.
The farm was the same size then as it is now? As far
Well,
as the
we
farmland
sold
and the
our
pastures?
home and 7 acres up on the hill there just a couple of years ago, but otherwise the same, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
How many acres was it?
466 acres.
And when you were growing up, did you have everything, the pigs, the chickens, the cows, or was it?
Sheep and cows and pigs and chickens, ducks maybe sometimes.
Were there fish in the pond?
We didn't have
The
ponds.
ponds weren't there until
Oh.
after we were there. 1958, 59, we put the dams in. But our kids, we didn't have a pond. No, the cricks were there, of course.
The what?
The cricks.
Oh, yeah.
And so we made dams, our own little dams in the creeks, and we had the water maybe a foot or two deep, so we could jump in and have a little fun of that.
Yeah.
Then we get the storm and everything would wash out, and then we had to start over again.
All right, should we move on to Grandma's?
I just have a couple more questions. How old were you when you started school? How old were you when you started school?
5,
And what school was it then?
the lowest school.
That was your lowest school.
Started in November, September, my birthday's in November, so I was 6 in November.
Okay.
Same with me when my birthday was in October and I started when I was 5.
Okay.
One room rural school.
Yeah. How many kids were in the school?
Usually 12 or 15.
Okay.
It's about that number, yeah.
Did you get in trouble a lot with teacher?
Not that I remember.
No.
No.
What was it? Do you remember the punishment if you were bad?
I don't know.
I don't remember even, you know,
No, I
with all
don't
the kids in my family, I don't remember the kid. The parents just kept tabs on them, I guess.
Good.
Yeah, and you just did what you were told.
Yeah.
behave around as you catch it. You catch it when you get home.
Yeah.
And now we have the key. So what's going on nowadays?
Yes, we do. We can solve all of those problems right here.
Yeah.
There was all 8 grades in one room. And the first 4 grades were usually, had their sessions separately. First grade was separate, 6th, 5th, 2nd or 3rd or 4th. But by the time you come to 5th or 6th grade, usually they concentrate the 5th grade curriculum one year and the 6th grade curriculum the next year.
Oh, wow.
And so that cut down the number of recitations and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then you went to Portage High School.
Yeah. Graduated in 1942.
And then what happened?
He went to university in Madison for 1 year.
UW, huh?
UW, yeah.
And what were you gonna study there?
Egg major. Zoology, probably animal agriculture is what I was aiming at.
Okay.
But then, of course, the war came along and that sidetracked everything.
Yeah.
I
So you
was deferred for farm work for 2 years.
Say that again?
I was deferred for farm work
Oh.
for 2 years on a neighbor farm. But then eventually I did get drafted and I was in the Army for about 17 months, I think it was, something like that.
You want to tell them what you did when you were in the army?
Yes, please.
I was-
17 months, you said?
Yeah, I was a clerk typist. Of all things.
So you want to type right now?
My arms and hands don't work anymore like that. No, I was responsible for shot records and insurance things and I don't know, just in the office thing. Stationed at El Paso, Texas. And I still know my Army serial number.
Wow.
46047
Wow.
709.
So then you came back to the farm after that, after El Paso?
Yeah, I decided instead of pursuing my education, I decided I wanted to be an active farmer.
Uh-huh.
And so then we kind of worked on shares with my folks for several years, and then eventually we bought the farm.
Okay.
You bought the farm from your parents
Yeah.
for just a couple of years. You did the shares.
Oh, well, let's see, I don't remember what year we did. About early 50s, I think it was. Of course, then in the meantime, I met my mother for life.
Yeah, how did that happen?
Well, her sister had married a friend of ours, George Paskey.
Okay.
And so I got kind of acquainted through that route, I guess
Yeah.
it was.
Can you tell me again how you met? Say that again. A friend of yours?
A friend of ours had
A mutual
married her
friend,
sister, Lorna.
We also went to dances where, you know, it was different than it is now. The boys would come and the girls would come and
Dance, upstairs dance hall in Baraboo, Eagles dance hall.
That's where we used to go to lunch, right? That
You were
little.
thinking of the garden party?
Yeah.
No, this is different.
Okay.
I don't know what's there now.
I don't know. No. Mm-mm.
But they used to, dances run from about 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. dancing the night away.
Yeah, you sure did.
That's sweet.
Polka and the waltz quadrille.
Uh-huh. And then we got when we were older and the kids were a little older, we did square dancing.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about that?
From Europe.
My grandmother on my dad's side came over from Germany when she was around 8 years old. Her and some of her brothers and sisters. But I don't know about my grandpa Steinhorst. But my grandma on my mom's side, grandpa and grandma come from Switzerland.
And do you know where in Switzerland?
San Moritz.
San?
Saint.
Saint
Oh,
Moritz.
Moritz.
Okay. And then what about in Germany? I didn't ask you, or were you in Germany where they
Oh,
came
I
from?
should have looked all.
Pomerania.
That's for you?
Yeah, I
Oh,
should have.
really?
Yeah, I should have had all that
Messer
stuff on
came
here,
from.
and I forgot.
I mean, it's not. We can look it
Yeah,
up.
it was
It's just-
Germany. Yeah, but
Okay.
I've got that down. And I can tell you about it later. Yeah, but she was only 8 or 9,
Okay.
something like that.
Okay.
And then my other grandparents, I think, were all. I'm pretty sure, probably most of them in Germany. Just when they were young. These glasses are driving me nuts.
Why? They
I
just don't work?
can't, no, I got new ones and the one on this side is blurred. So it's kind of hard if I start.
Oh, okay.
All right. And where did they first move when they came to the United States?
They moved right to around Sauk City. You help me here too, because
South County maybe.
Sauk County you could
Yeah.
put down. Yeah, because it was down by Plain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right in Wisconsin.
How did they end up there? Did they know? Do you know how they ended up there?
Probably word of mouth.
Yeah.
Is that how they kind of?
And they bought a farm,
Yeah.
yeah, they bought a farm right off the bat. They,
Okay.
yeah. Mhm. Actually, I think they were quite well-to-do on my mother's side, but my dad's side wasn't quite that way.
Do you know why either of your ancestors came over?
Word of mouth, I suppose, they probably
Well,
heard.
they hoped to have a better life
Yeah.
than what they had. Because the old feudal system was affecting Europe so much, and there was no chance for upward mobility.
Oh, right.
And anybody that wanted to mount to something, they run into a brick wall. So over here, they figured they could do it. They could make something of themselves.
You know what's really interesting is I watched Downton Abbey. It's a PBS show and it's based in the early 1900s.
Yeah.
And they talk about how that you are born into your station in life. And
Yeah.
it wasn't until after World War II when people could actually break through those class structures and start doing something different.
Kathy's been real interested in that drone show too.
Yeah. So it's very interesting to hear you guys talk about that. Okay, so you want to talk about where or when you were born and what your family was like a little bit, Grandma?
Oh, it's
1929.
1929. I was the third daughter born to my folks. And then I had a brother, and then I had a sister, and then I had a brother. And then I had my sister Marlene. You probably met Marlene. Yeah, she's my sweetie.
Oh.
So how many
She's
was
10.
there?
There were 7 of us.
7.
Yeah. And Marlene and I were 10 years apart. So you can see we had quite a few. Yeah. We were all born at home. And we had some interesting things happen to me when I was about 4 years old. I don't know whether you want this down or not.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We lived on a farm, and we had a hard man that my dad would hire to help with the farm work. And
They were called a hard man.
Hired.
Oh,
Hired.
Hired man. I've never heard that before.
Okay, now where was I? And he bought a new gun. I don't know whether you want to put this down or not, but us kids just loved him. He was just the kind of guy that, you know, us kids really took to him. And we were outside by the windmill, and it had a cement base. And he was trying out his new gun to see how it worked. And the gun went off and hit the cement walk and bounced back into my legs. And I still have some of those yet today. But that was really bad at that time. I mean, they had to take me to I didn't go to the hospital because they didn't have such a thing. I don't know whether they had those things, but took me right to the doctor's house, put me on the table. I remember that. I was just 4 years old, but I do remember that. And they had to decide what they were going to do, whether they were going to take those out, or if they took them all out, then they'd have to take my legs too. So they decided that they would keep them in, and so far it's worked good for 89, 87 days. But it was really something, because I had to learn how to walk all over again. And when that happened, my mother was in bed. All of us kids were born at home, so she had Audrey, my sister, and she was in bed with her. So I could go really into details about these mothers, how they had to stay in bed for a week. They couldn't get up or walk or anything. And then when they did, they had to practically learn how to walk all over again because they were so weak. But that's how the babies were born then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They were born and I think they had to stay laying flat for like a week. They couldn't even get out of
Everything
bed.
could go back in place.
No.
What's that?
So everything inside
Yeah.
could go back in place.
Yeah, so the uterus and everything would go back in place. Isn't that something?
No,
Now you get up and walk out.
Yeah, they're like, the more you move, the better it is for
But
you.
I never thought of that when I was thinking of different
That's so
things, but they
interesting.
just come to me, you know. Yeah. That's,
Yeah, their muscles would atrophy because they
Yeah,
don't move at
yeah.
all. And
My grandma Shanks died in childbirth. It wasn't uncommon in those days.
Yeah.
No,
It happened a lot of times.
So who raised your grandpa then? Or how did that, yeah, your dad. Who raised your dad if
My
you're,
dad's mother, yeah.
yeah.
But she was a Zamzo girl, and her folks raised
Where's your
kids.
grandpa?
Yeah. Grandma Zamzo.
Okay.
can you spell that?
Zamzo?
Zamzo, Z-A-M-Z-O-W.
Let's see, what else did we do? Besides have babies.
So you were on the farm.
Yeah, yes.
What was your day like then before you went to, for chores and?
Okay, we get home from school, quite often I'd go out and, like in the wintertime, bed down the cattle, the straw, go out to the straw pile and get the straw in when it was cold and wet, and put it, down for bedding for the baby, Grandpa did the same thing, I'm sure, in wintertime. Yeah. And gardening, we always had a big garden. And just a lot of washing and we heated all our wash water on the stove in big tubs. Same with the bath water. We heated that up.
I remember one time you told me that, when the Depression hit, it didn't really matter to your family because you didn't have a lot to begin with. So when the Depression came, it was just almost like another day.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
That's good.
We never had a lot of toys and things like nowadays everything is so different that it's hard to imagine. You look back and imagine, oh my gosh, is that how we did it?
In those days.
Oh yes, we always had, my mom made all the bread, coffee cakes, everything she made homemade, that was homemade. But my sister Lorna and I were just, 17 months apart. But when we get a slice of bread at the table, and we didn't want a whole slice, she would take the bottom half and I would take the top half, and that's the way it was. Is that what you meant? But as far as Mom did a lot of baking, she baked a lot of bread. In fact, at one time, the neighbor guy come up and said, you know what, could we buy some of your bread? Well, she had a hard enough time keeping bread in the house for 7 kids and 2 adults, you know. And she gave him some once in a while, but she didn't sell them, you know.
Yeah.
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 And she made a lot of coffee cakes and cakes and so on and so forth, but not a lot of frosting. You probably found that out too.
Did you ever think about what you wanted to be when you grew up?
Yeah, I always wanted to be a teacher.
Yeah.
Never quite got there.
No. Well, not in a schoolroom anyway.
No.
Well, you taught our 4 or 5 kids real good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Grandpa? What did you want to be? Did you ever think about
I was
it?
a farmer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What did you want to be, Laura?
Teacher or a doctor. And then I got to college and realized that I was not good at chemistry. So I had to pursue a teacher gig instead. What about you?
I wanted to be an astronaut. But somebody told me at one point that my mom would worry about me if I was up in space.
I guess
And I
she
didn't
would.
want my mom to worry about me.
Okay. There's so many things that I thought about this last week, but I can't really think of too many. Everything was done with horses. We didn't have tractors.
In fact, your folks gave me a book at Christmas time about 100 years of farm horsepower. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Of course, I can relate to some.
Yeah.
I got in on the tail end of the horse-drawn stuff.
You didn't have patience with horses.
I never
then?
really appreciated horses that much anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
My dad was a horseman. I mean, he
Oh,
really
yeah.
was into horses, yeah.
Well, that worked out well for you then. You know.
Why didn't you
Yeah.
care for horses?
I don't know. One bit me once, I remember that.
Oh.
How old were you?
Oh, pretty well grown up, I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah, everything was so different than it is now that you can't even imagine it.
Used to butcher our own meat,
Yeah, cut it up and grind it.
a steer, and then a couple times a year a hog.
Yeah.
Chickens, of course.
Yes, chickens. I raised chickens.
Did you used to sell the eggs or something?
I sell the eggs, and then Grandma Shanks always butchered the chickens and sold them to people in town. And then I got in on that too. And we would do that. We would, I don't know how many, yeah. We'd butcher them, and Grandpa would always butcher them though. That was his job. But
I was real good at taking their heads off.
It's a good talent.
I had a real good technique that way.
anyhow, then they all had to be gutted, you know, and that was my job. Well, he helped too.
What was your job?
Don't put that down.
No, what was it?
But
Gutting.
butcher
Oh,
gutting 'em.
gutting.
Yeah. I don't know how I done it. Now I look back and I think, how did I do that? 7 kids, you know?
Yeah, run the household and keep everything going the way you did. I don't know how you did
Yeah,
it.
and baked and you know. But we did have the school was always just across the road. So my dad always, we had water, jars?
Water cooler, right?
Water cooler. My dad always kept those, he'd take water from the farm in pails. And nowadays they never, and then he poured into the,
And a little rack with cups on it with each kid's name on the cup.
yeah.
The rack, so.
And then you went to the, and you press a button and the water come out, and then you'd have, that's how we, but there was only one bad thing about living across the street from the school. Because see, in the country you just didn't have that, but we did. We lived across, and we come home we come home at noon for lunch, and I never liked that because the other kids could bring lunch to school.
Oh, yeah.
But if the weather was really bad, then my mother would make sandwiches and,
Oh.
yeah.
What was your school called?
Well, Happy Hill School.
Happy Hills.
We lived on Happy Hill.
I know I've done some work up there. It's
Oh,
beautiful up there.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
beautiful. It's like you're on the top of the world.
You know where their old farmhouse is on Happy Hill Road?
I don't. I know the road pretty well,
Yeah.
but I don't
You
know.
remember where the school is? The school
Happy
is just across the road from our farm.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's much left of that school anymore.
Is it right on the top? You know, because you kind of go around and then there's a little bit of a straighter area up on top. Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
kind of where
Yeah.
there's I don't know what's up there right now, but it looks like an old foundation that maybe.
Probably a barn foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did some remodeling in that house, I know.
What was your address? Do you remember?
Oh my gosh. No, I don't. But when you get to the top there,
In those days, like with us, it was Shanks, Route 2 Portage.
Oh, yeah. Roll
yeah.
That was the address,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was it.
Of course, the mailman knew everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, mailman knew everybody, yeah.
All right, should we go into when you guys got married or how you're?
Well, let's go back to
Oh,
you graduated. Okay.
From high school.
And then what did you do after graduation?
I would like to go into what I did for when I was going to high school. We didn't have buses out there at all. So I worked for my room and board in town, in Barrow. And then I would go to school. And when I was a freshman, I worked 12 blocks from, 12 blocks from the schoolhouse. And I would go to school, walk to school, run to school, because the lady I was working for made sure I did all the work before I left for school. And I would run down to, it was 12 blocks, so it was all downhill, but then at noon, I didn't have money for lunch, so I'd go back to where I was working for my room and board, and I'd go home and eat a quick lunch and then go back to school at 12 blocks.
Wow.
Yeah, once in a while, if the weather was bad or something, then a fella, like the lady I was working for, her husband would take me, but it wasn't easy. It was, yeah. And then towards the end of the school year, like junior and senior year, then I worked in a restaurant and had my own place to stay and everything. But the first couple of years, I was on my own.
And you were what, 14? 13?
13 to start out with, yeah.
That's exactly what my grandma Naylor did too.
Yeah, I was thinking of her today. I was thinking, I bet you she had kind of a tough life too, didn't she?
Yeah, she stayed room and board in Wapaka and only did that I think for a year, and then she moved out to DC and was a nanny for a little while. And she said her last couple of months she was there, she saved up all her money just to get home, so she couldn't.
Yeah, I'd go home every other weekend. I'd have off for every other, yeah. And Mom would give me maybe 50 cents or something for spending money. And that was for tablets or anything I needed from school. So it was different, but I wouldn't want to go back that way again. I wouldn't want my kids to have to go through that either. But at the time, that's the way things were done. You just accepted them and went along. My mom wanted me to be a teacher. I guess that's where that come from, because school was easy for me.
Oh,
I had no problem with school. My oldest sister started, and then she found a place to work for money, and then she quit school. But I think Dolores went through school all the way through, I think. I'm not sure. No, I don't think so, because my dad wanted her to get a job because he figured she needed.
Help support the family.
Yeah.
With you and Marlene, the only two that graduated from high school.
oh
How
really?
about Audrey?
Yeah, I think Audrey did. I think she graduated. but not, none of the boys didn't. My dad thought that was silly for boys to go to high school. See, I've got some water in the refrigerator, so it's cold.
That's fine. It's cold, it was in the park. What happened then after high school?
After high school, my sister and I, my oldest sister and I, went to Milwaukee and got a job. Just, I guess it was her idea. She was about 4 years older than I was.
Mm-hmm.
Went to Milwaukee and we worked in this, what was the name of that store? In Milwaukee anyhow. We had a place to stay, room and board. We had to pay, but yeah.
What did your parents think about two of their girls going to Milwaukee?
I guess there wasn't much question about it. Yeah, just that my older sister would have liked to go on to school.
Then you left Milwaukee and ended up in Madison on the
Yeah.
Street.
Yeah, we worked at, yeah,
Ceylon.
the Ceylon, yeah. Until I met somebody that was willing to pay for my room and board.
Where did you work in Madison?
It was called a Ceylon. It made seals for, well, liquor bottles, yeah. It's kind of interesting, I guess. I don't know. It seems like that time was, I wasn't there that long. Because I still have.
We dated, she was living in Milwaukee, in Madison, and I was up here, of course. I had the car and she didn't, so I did the driving. I can remember a couple times coming home from Madison and I would doze off coming home. Car was running on the shoulder instead of on the lane.
What kind of car did you have?
1946 Plymouth.
Plymouth, I remember that one.
1946?
Yeah. That was about the first or second year they started, during World War II, for about 3 or 4 years there, they didn't make any passenger cars. Everything went into the war effort.
Mm.
And so there was a real pent-up demand for new cars when the war ended. You're lucky if you could get a hold of a new car.
Wow.
Was Russ and Ron, was that World War II they were in the service? Must have been.
No, Ron was in Korea,
Okay, that was
I
one
think,
of them.
and Russ was in
They
the
were
Navy.
both in at the same time, because I remember Mom saying she had 2 boys in the service. Yeah,
Russ was in the Navy.
yeah.
He served on a battleship or whatever.
Good. I had 4 sisters and 2 brothers.
That's a lot of girls.
Yeah, it is, but. Anyway,
Okay, anything else?
Not your childhood, I don't think.
Okay. So, how old were you when you met?
too young. No, I'm just kidding.
You
I
was
was
18 probably.
probably 17 or 18. Let's see, I was 19 when I got married.
18 and 23 maybe or something like that.
What'd you say?
She was 18 and I was 23, I think.
And how long did you court before you got married?
That was a good question.
So about a year maybe?
I guess, yeah. Yeah, about a year. We got engaged at Christmas time.
Do you want to tell us about that?
But
How you proposed?
That was really simple.
I don't remember.
You know, I remember that Christmas that I had a cousin that was engaged at the same time. She lost her husband when he was quite young. She just recently, about a month ago or so, she passed away. But nothing too exciting, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, we were engaged for not too long. We were engaged in December and we got married in June.
Where was your wedding?
In North Freedom, there's a
Oh.
Lutheran church in North Freedom.
Okay.
Reverend Lowe.
Yeah. And he almost didn't get to the wedding, remember that?
Wait, what did you say?
Pastor.
Reverend Lowe
Oh,
was his name.
and why didn't you get to the?
Well, he had a different time or something, I know that. He
Is that
wasn't-
right?
yeah,
I remember
yeah.
that.
I remember all my old boyfriends sitting in the back pew when
Oh.
we got married.
Crying.
Actually, they were my brother's friends too, I think. Oh dear, yeah. We had a big wedding. We had a reception at the church and,
Dance at the Armory in Portage.
yeah, my mother fixed us dinner. Gosh, it was probably 25, 30 people there, I think she had. But she had the lady that she had helping me with my wedding dinner, just recently passed away. She was 103 years old. And of course, I got pregnant right away. Did you want to put that in there?
Yes, we do.
Steve was born, about 9 months and so many days after. I remember at that time, people thought and talked differently, but I remember Grandma Shanks saying, well, I hope you wait until, she was afraid somebody thought we had to get married anyhow. But he did wait, he waited, he was 21st, he just had a birthday.
He did.
Yeah. Okay. No.
So you had already had the farm when you got married,
Yeah.
and were you farming it by yourself then?
Oh, it was my dad.
Okay.
Kind of a partnership like.
Yeah,
Okay.
and his brother John helped out some.
Yeah,
too, but-
oh yeah.
So I'm curious to know, did you have intergenerational households at all? So did your grandparents live with you at all growing up, or was it just your parents and
No,
siblings?
Just parents and siblings, yeah.
Okay.
Because both of our parents were living, you know, so they had their own home.
Yeah.
You guys traveled quite a bit, but when did you start? Were you always traveling or?
Well, I know, we got around a fair amount.
Yeah, probably after the kids got big enough so they
One
could.
time we went up north, we ended up in a cottage or something, the kids were quite small yet.
That's right. I remember Steve and Kathy. We got
Yeah.
a picture of them out in the,
Even younger than that, I think.
yeah.
Of course, when Bob was in Arkansas, we went down there a couple times a year. For
We used to
a few
always
years.
go, but as far as going into another country, no, we didn't.
Yeah, well, we've been overseas 3 times.
Scotland?
Holy Land, England and Scotland and Switzerland.
Oh,
And we're real glad we did it when we did, because no way could we do it now.
did you meet family over there?
No, when we was in Scotland, we were out with a tour group, and you go with a tour group, well, you don't really have time to branch off on your own.
Yeah.
But we had
A lot of good memories.
yeah,
Switzerland and Germany.
when
Over
when
Germany.
we was in Switzerland, the last night we were over there, we had a traditional Swiss dinner. And then they brought out the elk horns. And they tagged a few people to try them on, and one of them happened to be me. And I did make a little squeal out of it, but it didn't amount to anything.
No, we had a good time.
Yeah, when we were in Switzerland, we were a traveling companion.
Yeah.
Veronica and Bill, and they're
Bill,
both
they're
gone
both
now.
gone now, yeah.
So looking back, what advice do you have to give to parents today?
Oh, boy.
The home should be a happy haven in the midst of a hostile world.
Hold on.
I don't know if hostile is the right word or not, but that's kind of what I mean in a way.
Yeah.
What's your advice?
Well, I have to have advice. I was sharing it. Oh, what was the question again?
Looking back, what advice do you have for parents today?
Know where your children are and what they're doing. Take time for them. I think too many parents are too busy to check on their kids. I like your socks. Don't put that
Don't
down.
you-
I'm writing that right now.
Oh,
And you,
here's a good question I always hear when I hear podcasts. What advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
20.
Looking back at when you were younger, what advice would you give yourself, knowing what you know now?
Be gentle and patient.
That's a good one. I guess that goes for me too.
and you've been married for how many years now?
66.
66.
Mm-hmm.
So what advice do you have for married couples?
Oh, it's so different now than when we got married.
About the same thing, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
What makes your marriage happy?
I think probably our religion, our church going and things that kind of kept things
Faith.
in line, faith, yeah. Be happy.
Hmm. 66 years, can you imagine that?
Yeah.
I have to be super old to live, to be married for that long.
How many years have you been married?
It'll be 4 in May.
And how about you now?
I don't know. I think it's
You've been-
3 in May.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Already. Yeah. Huh?
I think.
Yeah.
May what?
It's so different. Things are so different now.
I'm so bad with numbers. May 15th, I think. It's somewhere around.
Yeah, I've got it wrote down someplace, but I don't know whether it's the exact day. But
Yeah. It's my second
See?
marriage.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think see, we had a lot of May birthdays. My mother and dad were both in May, and my 2 older sisters are both in May.
And Lincoln and my dad are in May.
Yeah. Right. So.
It's a great one.
Have to look back now, of all the couples that lived in Caledonia that we knew as friends and neighbors, we're about the only couple that's left.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a weird feeling. You wonder why.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you really do. The kids have to put up with all your problems now, and
I guess it's however you look at it. Like, I know Laura and I are very thankful that you're alive. We know.
Yeah.
well.
And I know my
appreciate-
parents are thankful you're alive.
Yeah.
You know, no problem.
Yeah,
And just think of how much you did for them, and it's their way to give back.
yeah,
They're happy to do it.
yeah. We appreciate it too.
Yeah.
Right now, especially.
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah. What else can we ask you guys?
Just mom and pop restaurant, you know, like. And my mom worked in the restaurant for a few years or a year.
So this was your mom's parents?
Yeah.
Um,
I think they were quite well to do. I don't know. I just assumed that. How do you like those cookies?
I like
Too
cookies.
minty, maybe, huh? They're the Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, they're good. I'm not complaining. There's cookies.
What happened to the dish of candy that I had sitting on?
I stuck it over here to be under the frame.
Oh, okay. Stick it in your pocket if you don't want it.
Want to tell us about this picture?
Well, that's just one of the things we did to have to entertain ourselves when we were kids. Myself and my brother Bill and my brother John. And we ended up wrecking that buggy. Well, we
Put it there.
tried to modify it and put a steering wheel in it. And the steering was hooked up
Now
wrong.
they had-
Instead of, if you wanted to go this way, you had to turn the steering wheel the other way. Well, John come down the hill and he turned it the wrong way and he ran into a building and wrecked it.
They had, I think you could tell some pretty good stories about you and your brothers.